In this video, let's talk about a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about public safety in Brazil, okay? And if there is any safe city here in the country, okay? If you are planning to live here, or you're planning whatever to just travel here, I will talk a little bit more about it. I'm a native here in Brazil, okay? I live in the northeast Brazil, okay, in the state of Ceará. And let's have, first of all, let's have a deeper understanding of why the crime rates are high here. And it's not related to economics, okay? Because economics, there's nothing about economics, okay? Because if every poor country was violent, what can you say about Philippines and Thailand and some Southeast Asian countries that are very poor and are not dangerous, okay, are not unsafe, okay? Safety, there's nothing related to that, okay? It's not too complicated, okay, too. But I'll try to explain some points here and if there is any safe city here in Brazil, okay? First of all, we have a massive problem here in Brazil that I mentioned over and over again. If you watch this channel, you probably just listen to this many times, but I always have to say because there is always new people here in the channel. So I have to mention these key points here, okay? And one point that fucks up Brazil a lot is the centralization of the laws. The unified system that we have laws, the same laws for every country, and Brazil is a huge country, okay? We have many cultural difference between the regions, okay? Many difference, okay? There's a lot of difference. You cannot unify everything, but that's how it is in Brazil, okay? It's unified. This is terrible because in the United States, let me give an example, you have decentralized laws. Every state here has his own, let me say, on independence, taxes difference, laws difference. In some states guns are allowed, in other states guns are forbidden. If you agree with one thing or another, you can go to one state or another. If you are unsatisfied, and you can just decide without leaving your country, okay? You have a lot of small countries inside one country, okay? That is fantastic. Obviously, Brazil doesn't copy what's good. He copies only what's bad, and that's what Brazil does. Brazil has absolutely good laws for the criminals, okay? The laws here are very brilliant for the criminals. Is kind of, if you kill somebody, you just go 4 years in the jail, and if you have good behavior in the jail, you just go out in 4 or 5 years, and it's very difficult to be arrested here in Brazil. The whole majority of crimes are never solved, okay? Over 90% of the crimes. So we have bad people in every part of the world, okay? We have good and bad people, and bad people are the minority always, okay? I'm not saying Brazil has more bad people than USA or Thailand. I'm not saying this. I believe, in my opinion, that we have the same amount of bad people in every place, okay? But what difference is the incentives, okay? If you just have a good incentive to do something, you will do, okay? It's just like this. And Brazil has this incentive, okay? Has this incentive to bad people to make bad things because of the laws, because they will not be punished, never. So I agree that is not an intelligent way to be in the crime, okay? If you are an intelligent person, you don't go this way, because even if you don't get punished, you can be just end up in some way, okay? It's not an intelligent thing to do. Okay, but as I said, we have bad people, and the incentive to do this is huge here in Brazil. Okay, so that's the problem. These laws are the same for all over the country. So every time a city starts to grow a little bit more, over, let me say, 500,000 people, okay, then starts to grow, they start to have the same problems. Okay, so the majority of the capitals are not safe. That is the truth. There was one capital. There are just few capitals that are exception. I mentioned here that I one of the capitals that I heard positively a lot of Brazilians talk about is Florianopolis. Maybe for a while this capital will still be relatively safe comparing to the other capitals. But I don't know for how long this will happen. There is João Pessoa that is in the northeast Brazil that I was absolutely in love with this capital. It's not a huge capital, so the crimes there tends to be lower, but a subscriber in this channel told me that they was robbed. He is a foreign, okay? He was robbed many times there in this capital. I was surprised negatively because I thought it's a very safe city. I'm not saying that there is dangerous, okay, but it was not as safe as I thought, okay. Although it still be a lot safer than many capitals. A very beautiful city, very well organized, and it still be one of my favorite capitals, okay, João Pessoa. But despite of that, all the capitals basically are not really safe, okay? I'm not saying that you are gonna be paranoid, that you expect to be robbed every time, but just be with your eyes open because it's just the way it is here in the country, okay? One symptom of this lack of public safety is the shopping centers. We have a lot of shopping centers here in Brazil. I don't know if you have noticed, but the shopping centers is I hear people commenting that shopping centers in Brazil are a lot bigger than United States and other rich countries like Europe. Shopping centers here we have a lot of them, and they are really big structures because because people don't have public safety to walk in the street, so they walk inside the shopping centers. That at least we have some public safety inside the shoppings. So that is the reason that we have so many shopping centers here. I think that is the main reason, okay? So if you are planning to come here Brazil and if you wanna look for a very safe place, okay, what I have to say is look for these two capitals that I mentioned. That is João Pessoa in the northeast region is not so safe, but I think it's a lot safer than most of capitals. We have Florianopolis too, that is in the southeast, the south region, okay, in the state of Santa Catarina, okay, and we have good capitals too, but the biggest are always a lot more dangerous, okay. If you really want the safety, you have to look for the countryside, small cities. I can record a video about it, but in São Paulo, okay, São Paulo is a good state to look for good countryside small cities, okay. We have a lot of small cities very well developed in São Paulo state, okay, if you don't like capitals. And I think in Brazil is the state with the biggest numbers of capitals with good because there is this problem in Brazil. When we go to the countryside are very undeveloped. Let me say like this, is too small, okay. And if you don't want a too small place to live, if you want a place with a lot of restaurants and variety of things to do and is not necessarily dangerous, Look for the countryside cities of Sao Paulo. We have a lot of them, okay? And if you want to have a very calm life in a beach, in a really you don't want a big city, let me say like this, you can live in the north east beach, okay? In Ceará we have a lot of beaches, very nice and very cheap to live, but they don't have a lot of things to do in the city necessarily. But if you want a quality of life and nature, you can come here to the northeast, to the Ceará specifically. And that is one advantage of Brazil. We have a whole variety of options depending on what you want. Okay, if you want big city, if you want not so big, more safe, and if you want a beach, okay, we have this whole variety of options. And in this channel, I explain a lot about them. So that's it for the video today. Okay, if you like this information, just tap the like button, subscribe. Okay, and as always, see you.